Hey, I'm Blake Scarlevy with Route 16, and I have another release wave feature to show you. So this one is public preview as of this month, June 2025. So brand new, and it's the ability to bring intelligence into model-driven apps and custom components using the Agent XRM API. So essentially, Microsoft has added a new module to the XRM client-side API called Copilot. Right now, there's just two functions you can call, but you can leverage this from form JavaScript, from a custom web resource, or even PCF controls. So what does it do? Basically, there's these two new functions. One is called execute event. This one lets you call a specific Copilot topic that is you have built, or even a native one potentially, and you pass in the ID of that topic and then whatever arguments it takes, and it will return the result of that topic basically. So if you imagine in the UI you're using Copilot when you're typing like a prompt or whatnot, it essentially is triggering a topic, and the topic uh, performs some actions and then it replies back to the user. Well, essentially, it would do the same thing, but it'll return the result to your custom JavaScript or custom PCF control, and then you can do whatever you would like with that result, basically. And then the second one is very similar, but instead of calling a specific topic by ID, you just give it a prompt. So your prompt is essentially what you're typing into Copilot. Like, hey, I need help with this. That's a prompt that you could pass in through code. And it's the same idea. The result that Copilot would give you in the normal UI is the same result it would pass through to your code, and you can do with that result as you see fit. Um, so we built out just a very simple use case for this just to show off what it looks like. I have a few components. So I built a custom web resource. So I'm just doing HTML. So I'm on the account form, and I'm just going to have it give me a summary of the account. So I put this section here called AI summary. I'm embedding my custom web resource here. I called intelligence.html. We can look at what that HTML looks like. It's right here. It's very basic. So essentially, when this HTML loads, I'm using this new xrm.copilot functionality, and I'm going to execute a prompt. In this case, I have hard code in Microsoft. I would just pull the name of the account and pass that in, and it's going to give me a response. Now, there's not much information on these responses, but from what I've seen, there's a message response and certain events. The message is the one I want. And so in this scenario, I have a Copilot that is going to give me a summary of the account. So its result is a message with the summary, right? So essentially, I'm just going to get that message and I'm going to display it in my HTML, which is going to display on the form to the user. So pretty basic. Um, so we configured the form with our custom HTML web resource, and then we also have to add a topic to Copilot. So switch over to Copilot Studio here. So the one thing, I'll come back to these functions here. So there is execute event, which takes in a topic ID. So I believe you could build any sort of custom topic in any sort of Copilot and reference it by that ID, and you're good. Now with execute prompt, I'm not sure because doesn't cover it in the documentation. But all you pass in is an actual prompt. So I don't know if it's able to find the right prompt across all your copilots, or if it's only looking at a specific copilot for now. So that's one question I have. So what I did is I built my topic into the native copilot for my environment. So here you can see it's Copilot in Power Apps is the one I have in my environment. This was managed by Microsoft. Here's all the topics. These are all native topics that came with this native Copilot, right? So what I did here is I just went and added a topic and I called it summary. So it's this one down here. And it's very basic. So it's just taking my prompt, in which case is the name of the company. In our scenario, it's going to just be Microsoft, right? And then if you haven't seen Copilot Studio before, one of the newer things you can do is this generative answers. And you can essentially give it any sort of knowledge, whether it's your Dataverse tables or SharePoint or external website, and it's going to create some generative response based on that knowledge. In my case, I'm just looking for public information about a company. So I allowed it to search the web. So it's essentially just working like a chat GPT would. If I would just say, summarize Microsoft for me, it'll search the web and present me with a summary based on what it finds, right? That's basically what this is going to do. And it's going to return the result to my custom web resource. And then I'm just going to display that. So, and what we get here, and it did take a while to load, is one other downside. And then here's another downside. Sometimes it's been returning in a different language. And so that's another thing I have questions on, because there's no way to, from what I can tell, like what language. And in my Copilot here, I've never gotten it to display anything other than English. So I'm not exactly sure where the disconnect is. We could even try it now. If I put in Microsoft here, it should respond with a summary in English. And it does come back in English in CRM as well. Sometimes it seems like almost like a 50-50. But you can see here it's returning in English. My camera's covering a little bit, but let me refresh. I can show you. There is a bit of a delay, maybe like a minute or more. So that's my other concern with this so far. And it may be just the way, because I'm using the execute prompt one, which is more generic. So it might be better if I do the execute event and I say, hey, just execute this specific topic that I care about. And that might make it a bit faster. But that's just some of the downsides there. And so I'm back. I did pause the video. It did take a few minutes to get this to load, but as you can see now it's in English, and it does give you the sources as well, which is cool. So it used Wikipedia, it used Microsoft.com with an investor report that they had, and also Microsoft.com on the about page. But another thing you can notice too is if we flip back to the test studio and Copilot Studio, it is a different response. It does have one reference, which looks to be the same Microsoft About page, but the response is different. So that's another thing to be mindful of if you're using like the web search. But there you have it. Hope this helps maybe come up with some use cases for yourself. As endless possibilities with this. There's so many different custom Copilot scenarios that you can build and then leverage displaying that information through a model-driven app or with a PCF controller custom web resource. So hope you enjoyed that video. Hope it helps. Thanks for watching.